Welcome everyone to the GCW Lockdown Matchcard announcements. We have such a hell of a pay-per-view planned out. This is the 4th pay-per-view of 2021 and the 5th Lockdown event. How are we feeling, everybody, today, including you, Luke?
Yeah, I'm very excited to get into this Lockdown match card. I mean, we're standing right here in front of the Lockdown cage, a brand new cage that we're going to have for the first time this year. What do you think of this? This is huge.
This thing is ginormous. I am almost shitting my britches right now. This thing is intimidating as all hell, and I cannot imagine competing in one of these things. But you know who can imagine it? The competitors who are going to compete in front of all of you in attendance. That's right, and up first, our first match is the 5-man elimination lockdown cage match for the Cruiserweight Championship. It's become a bit of a tradition to have the Cruiserweight Championship be defended in a match of this caliber. And of course, the Cruiserweight Champion, the man who made me very rich, Jushin Thunder Liger, will be defending his championship against two men that have already embarrassed him and his sidekick, Rey Mysterio and Rey Fenix. But that's not all. We also have Ricochet. Could Ricochet actually bring back the momentum he deserves here in GCW by defeating Jushin Liger and all the other competitors to gain the Cruiserweight Championship? We don't know. But what we do know is that there is a debut among us, and it is the legendary Japanese talent, the pride of Japan, Kushida, making his first appearance here in GCW in this stellar matchup. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very exciting opening match here again. We had a 5-way elimination Cruiserweight Championship match last year, and that was a great one. And now this year we're going to have it again. You know, the champion Liger has been very dominant this year, but at Money in the Bank, he suffered his first real big loss in the tag match against Rey Mysterio and Rey Fenix. So maybe Liger is in a little bit of a downward spiral here and could lose the championship. And obviously Kushida going to be very interesting to see for the first time in a GCW ring. And Ricochet now moving more into the Cruiserweight division could be a new beginning for Ricochet here in GCW.
Yes, sir. And you also got to wonder, will the Black Liger make an appearance in this matchup and cause some unneeded shenanigans just to get Jushin Liger to win? I certainly hope not. And if he does, you know, it's probably his funeral, because look at this thing. Like, just to walk in this structure alone takes a lot of huevos, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and he would need to climb into that thing. Like, look how high this is. This is going to be.
I don't even know if it's all worth it at that point.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah, definitely. But that is not the only match, of course, that we have for the Lockdown here. The second match that we're going to announce is going to be for the GCW Tag Team Championships. It's going to be the champs, the Dangerous Tekkers, Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. put the Tag Team Championships on the line against our very good friends, MDT Trey White and the Stage Creator.
Oh yeah, even though we ended the podcast not too long ago, a very sad day indeed, but that does not mean the friendship must end either. I'm rooting for my boys through and through, and the Dangerous Tekkers, they made an emphatic statement last time we were here. They attacked WSC and MDT from behind after they defeated Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin, and just, oh my God, it was just such a despicable action, and they're just a bunch of bitter guys from Japan that nobody knows about. I'm just gonna be honest here, you know, like it's kind of night and day when it comes to popularity. But hey, you know, most of the time popularity isn't what's gonna win the matchup. Okay, I hear that Zack Sabre Jr., he's a seasoned veteran of the game, and he knows all kinds of ways to turn you into a pretzel. But is that going to be enough to take down the heart and soul of the YouTube wrestling figure community, MDT and WSC? We're going to have to find out on that match.
Yeah, Zack Sabre known to work over body parts, and you definitely have here a normal tag team match. So we gotta wonder, is this steel knee allowed? If it's not, will Zack Sabre Jr. make that knee of the Stage Creator a target?
Oh man, and I already know the history of that bad knee. I was there live when Kevin Owens brutalized it over there in WSC and his home turf. And I don't know if I can handle that again if Zack Sabre Jr. gets a hold of that knee, and it's just going to be a disaster if that happens. Hopefully it won't, and hopefully our boys will take the championships back home.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, after that, we have a one-on-one match where the Money in the Bank briefcase is on the line. Kota Ibushi was the surprise entrant in the Money in the Bank ladder match, to the dismay of many people, actually. It actually shocked me. But it not only shocked me, it shocked Kota Ibushi himself. He heard the raves, he heard the complaints, and he wants to prove himself, like any great warrior should, by asking management for this matchup, giving Will Ospreay the chance to go one-on-one with him for that briefcase that Will Ospreay believes that he rightfully deserved, until that vicious Kamigoye hit him dead in the mush over the top of the ladder.
Yeah, I think a lot of the disappointment came, people thought Ospreay was going to win this. The crowd was definitely behind Ospreay that night after his, rise to the heavyweight division. Had a great performance on GCW Live. Came very close to actually fighting for the GCW Championship at Money in the Bank. Was a little bit stopped there by AJ Styles and the Bullet Club. But then Ospreay went on to the Money in the Bank. He had a great performance, but in the end, Kota Ibushi was able to, like you mentioned, hit the Kamigoye on the top of the ladder and get that Money in the Bank briefcase. And I think it's a very nice thing from Kota Ibushi, great sportsmanship here to offer that match to Will Ospreay.
Yes, and at the very end of the day, that's what this business is all about, sportsmanship, being the better man, and Kota Ibushi is a very honorable one indeed. We're going to have to see what's going to happen, who's going to come out with that Money in the Bank briefcase once the night is done. That's going to be a question that needs to be answered.
Yes, definitely. And also, I think it's going to be a great match. We've seen some exchanges between these two in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and they were great. So
it's like watching a kung fu movie, or like unfold right in front of your very eyes. So like that's going to be no doubt a 5-star classic waiting to happen.
Definitely so. And next on the card, we have another lockdown cage match, and this is going to be a big one. We have the GCW in-ring debut of G-Man, and he is fighting Jeff Hardy. And I just want to hear your thoughts on that matchup.
Oh boy, where do I even begin? Okay, so yes, G-Man came to Money in the Bank from the crowd, unannounced, stopped Jeff Hardy from getting the Money in the Bank briefcase in one of the most beautiful sequences I've ever seen. And it's not just because that Jeff Hardy almost crippled me long time ago, right after WrestleMania. I'm lying, it is, but that's besides the point. I got to be unbiased here. G-Man put Jeff Hardy back in his place, and now my cousin is in the big leagues. It's so wonderful to see my own family member get on the big leagues like GCW and go right after the man who hurt me. And you know what? I've seen what G-Man is capable of. I think everyone here has. And he's got a bit of a thing about that. He doesn't want to think about the past so much. But right now, he's got his sights set on just brutalizing Jeff Hardy for what he did to me. And I know Jeff Hardy, he's not so much of a slouch either. He's going to start gunning for the fences as well.
Yeah, and definitely G-Man, has been making his name in hardcore matches, and he's going to be able to use all the hardcore stuff in the book in this cage. But also Jeff Hardy, on the other hand, last year at GCW Lockdown, he had a big victory over Cedric Alexander in the Lockdown cage, so Jeff Hardy definitely is no stranger to these cage matches. And man, I cannot wait for this one personally.
It's just going to be nothing but brutality, no remorse, no mercy all the way through. One can only find out what's going to happen, but I know what's going to happen. My cuz is going to beat the ever-living shit out of the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy. Okay? So let's move on from that match. After that, we're going to the main event, the huge war that has been waiting to happen ever since WrestleMania. the Bullet Club versus the Elite, the Lockdown Cage Elimination matchup for the ages. Kenny Omega leading Cody and the Young Bucks against AJ Styles, Jay White, Carl Anderson, and the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. What on earth is going to happen in this matchup, Luke?
I have no idea, but I'm just seeing Bullet Club's strategy of getting the Fiend and paying off here. They are in a cage with the Elite, and they can bring the Fiend on their side into that cage. I think that's going to be very important for Bullet Club there. And you know, we have so many stories all going into one here. We have obviously the long-lasting story of AJ Styles and Kenny Omega. Also, Kenny Omega just got done with the pay-per-view match with Jay White, who pretty much stole the Intercontinental Championship from him, but then defeated him again at Money in the Bank. So there's so much that can happen here, and I'm definitely, what probably is the most exciting thing here for me, is how Bullet Club is going to work together with their new member, The Fiend.
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, surely is a wild card amongst this matchup, but you also got to think, is the psyche of Kenny Omega all there at this point? Because one thing is for sure, what happened at WrestleMania broke his spirit. I could see it in his eyes, and it made it even worse after losing, getting embarrassed by Jay White in Money in the Bank. Do you think that Kenny Omega is fit to lead the Elite in a match, a carnage-filled massacre such as the Lockdown Cage match on that night? It's just going to be absolute carnage for anyone to see.
Yeah, I mean, that is the big question here that we got to ask. I feel like usually if you would have asked me, is Kenny Omega going to beat Jay White in a one-on-one match, I would have said yes, but Money in the Bank proved us otherwise. So maybe there is definitely something in Kenny Omega that is broken, you know? So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this match. There are so many possibilities of what could happen, and you know, so many questions actually that need to be answered, and I think we will get these answers in that match.
One thing's for certain, even through all the chaos that this match is going to unfold, I don't think, no matter who wins this matchup, no matter which team wins, I don't think this feud is going to be over, not by a long shot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if after this match there will still be trouble between the Bullet Club and now the Elite.
Oh yes. Well, after all that, Lockdown is looking to be probably the best GCW pay-per-view of 2021. You know, that's just my opinion, but you know, with a card as stacked as this, the debut of G-Man, Kota Ibushi, and Will Ospreay going one-on-one, the Bullet Club and the Elite going to absolute war, among all other things. This is going to be a night to remember, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, 100%, and the greatest thing is we will both be ringside once again to watch yet another GCW pay-per-view.
I think it's safe to say that we're all ready for GCW Lockdown. Be there live. You don't want to miss this.